think they're going to try to sacrifice Kendrick.
Don't say that.
Why would she think that they're going to try to sacrifice Kendrick? Let's do a deep dive and decode the Super Bowl, because y'all been asking me. Do y'all see before the halftime show, they zoomed out and showed this big red button? The Super Bowl was located at Caesar's palace. What happened to Caesar? He gained a lot of power in the government of Rome and amongst the people, and he was going to bring Egypt and Rome together. Now, what happened to Caesar? He was assassinated because he gained too much power, and the government officials didn't like that. So Kendrick's halftime show starting off with this big red button is no coincidence as to why we would think that. Especially because Kendrick is not from Louisiana. Now, who chose Kendrick to perform the halftime show? Jay-Z. Jay-Z has very, very deep ties in the industry, and he is a representative for our culture. He's the one who sits down with the old white men. The strategy of picking K-Dot for the halftime show is directly linked to the awakening and the revolution that's happening within the minds of Americans. Kendrick Lamar as an artist transcends boundaries on hip-hop. There's a reason why he won a Pulitzer Prize in 2018. He provides breadcrumbs of revolutionary resistance in his music that Americans, and especially melanated people, can connect to. And that is what is currently happening in the minds of Americans right now, and Jay-Z knows that. As a fellow Gemini, Kendrick is very, very intelligent. He knows this. So now let's go to his performance. To start off the halftime, we are taken through the Apple. The camera angle that's showing us the stage is a PlayStation controller. On a PlayStation controller, the buttons are in a diamond shape with the triangle at the top. The buttons are in each corner, and the way he makes his moves are in the T, same way on the controller. As you notice in the crowd, the loading is at 100%, ready to start the games. Now, why would he have his stage as a PlayStation game controller? Who owns PlayStation? Sony. Now, I'm not pointing this out because of Drake. I'm pointing it out because of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson owned 50% of Sony and ATV Publishing, and he said that they were trying to get him and tarnish his image. And some people think because of his influence, just like Julius Caesar, he was assassinated. Throughout his performance, you will notice that he is paying homage to people who have fallen because of the game. Even Michael Jackson's sister, LaToya, wanted to investigate Sony. Because of this, there are a lot of people who are worried about her. They think that something is slowly depleting her energy. Now, the Super Bowl opens up with Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam. He starts off by saying, "Welcome to America's greatest game." Kendrick chooses to open up on the square. Squares represent confinement, preventing energy from moving freely beyond the trap. Growing up in Compton, looking at the state of America and the melanated people here, he knows the trap has been set, and all you can do is play the game. Kung Fu Kenny opens up on his GNX in the same position that XXXTentacion was in his XXL freestyle. In his unreleased rap, he's speaking the same message that X put out. Some people believe that XXXTentacion was sacrificed because of his influence. On Pandora alone, he had 2.1 billion streams. In his 2017 XXL freestyle, he stated that he will be the one to unalive those who go against human rights, pointing out those who do bad go to prison in PC, which might mean professional corporation, which could be stating that privately owned prisons help higher ups evade real punishment. In this freestyle, he explains how you approach these disagreeable beings, staying calm and expressing the presence of their doom. And Kendrick opens up the same way. In this unreleased rap, he speaks on no more handshake and hugs, it's time. The energy only circulates through us, the people, and everybody must be judged. Also saying that in this performance, you will not get the picture if you sit for hours on a loop watching this. In this rap, he stated that he was given government money, but now he's going to seize the government with their own money. And as he stands up, he said the revolution will be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Some people on TikTok are saying that that's a shot at Trump. I think he's talking about himself. Basically saying, true, this is the right time for an artist like myself to be performing. But you picked the wrong person because now I'm finna speak. I am the judgment that comes for those who go against humanity. Now let's move on. People who coming out the car are red, white, and then blue. They are excited. They ready to pop off. They ready for whatever is to come. The white and the red shake hands, and then women in red are coming out the GNX. GNX represents humanity. After all of the players come out, the only ones who stay with him is the women in red. You notice that the women in red have wigs that are half black and half red. For Kendrick, the black is representing humanity and also representing Black Americans. That term black is for a whole nother video. Let's get into what these colors mean. We know that the colors that he used was to show symbolism to the American flag. The color red is the symbol of sacrifice and the blood of those who fought for the country. You know, the bravery it takes. The white represents purity, innocence, angels, freedom, peace when you wave the white flag. And blue represents justice and strength. In the performance when they got out of the GNX, the men left. He is the only man standing on the stage with the women who are all in red. Now, for those who know the statistics of melanated Americans' households, they know that the men leave and the women stay, but they deal with all of the sacrifices, taking care of life, and showing the willingness to stand by with all of this tragedy that is happening in America, and still decide to create life in this current circumstances. Now, Squabble Up turns on. There are men in white who are on the stage with him. Notice how there is no blue. They shield him and give him the energy and protection he needs to get through this. There is no blue. There is no justice right now, but he's still being amped up by the angels, by the white, the pureness, the innocence. Basically saying, we got him. What y'all gonna do? During this entire time, we know that Kendrick knows that he is a pawn. In my head, he is representing Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Because in him saying the revolution will be televised, he's contradicting the original terms of what Jill Scott said. I feel like what Jill Scott meant is that there's no way that they are going to allow you on their platform to revolutionize the Americans, to show the truth, to speak about what's actually happening, to send a message to the Americans. Always twisting that free will, trying to reactivate the spell. So they're gonna need a pawn whose track record shows the connection of revolution, but also initiated into their industry, their system. Martin Luther King was having late night phone calls with the president. Then he realized he's integrated us into a burning house. And Kung Fu Kenny represents both being in the industry and also being a revolutionary. This is why he knows he's the pawn in this great American game connecting the culture. Now we gotta go to a part 2. I will see you there.